Limon. The record reflects she's present in court with her attorney and the people are represented. Still have Detective Meyer on the stand, subject to direct by Mr. Smith, and all 12 plus 4 in the box. Good afternoon. Nice to see you all back. Mr. Smith, I believe when we broke, we were on page 67. If you'd like to continue, sir.
The church, where's the church together? Where's it at?
So I feel like it's kind of fast. I have said, like, I wouldn't want to tell him so much about hard days. I just kind of kept it light. I don't know why not. I just...
Did you not want to tell him about the hard days because you didn't want him to realize that you miss Rob? You missed your old way of life? Yes?
Yeah, and I would tell him I miss Rob a lot.
What did he say?
I'd say, yeah, of course you do. You spent so much years with him. And, I didn't even think about this. It's like every day, just something different. Like, just trying to get by. And I feel like we've been doing better.
The kids and I.
The kids and I. But then he's coming to play pretty
quickly. Have you introduced the kids to Rob? Or to Proctor?
Oh yeah. He's been around.
He's a buddy now.
He's been over, watched movies, making plans, and I thought this is so crazy. How could Rob be gone? How could Rob be gone? And then we are just kind of,
together. He's over your house, he's hanging out, he goes to go to movies, going to lunch, kind of falling into that relationship role. So I need to get some clarification with a few things. Back before Rob got murdered, okay? But before we talk, I want to let you know that you have to be totally honest with me.
Okay.
This is so freaking serious. I can't tell you how serious this is.
Okay. I gotcha. I'm with you.
If you're lying to me, it's going to be very difficult for you. Okay. Before the marriage, or before the death of Robert, you guys have had conversations, multiple, 7,333 conversations. April 15th when you got the burner phone. Got that burner phone on April 15th. From April 15th to the 1st, there were 7,333 phone calls, text messages. I've done my homework. Okay. You guys have had to have some sort of conversation discussing your unhappiness in your marriage and your divorce or possible divorce, and then at what point did Jonathan say that he could probably take care of it for you?
He never said he could take care of it.
Never.
It was like, no, like we could be together, and live for God.
So he said we could be together and live for God. What did you think about that?
I just kind of lived, I thought I would think about it, but it was like I was living like two lives,
So a life with Robert and then a life with Jonathan.
In a way, yeah.
And whenever he would talk to you,
I would go along,
I'm sorry, what?
we talk about things, and, kids, talk about the kids, raising the kids, we talked about that a lot. How badly if things were being done, you know, like.
So he's saying you were a bad parent and Rob was a bad parent? Because he obviously knows he's 26 years old and he, you know what I mean?
He never, foolish. I felt foolish. He would never say, you're a bad parent. Rob's a bad parent. I don't think he would ever say that, but he would say there's a lot of, you know, need for God in our
And that was his way in. He started to make you feel guilty about the life you were living, about not living for God. He gets his way into your mind and your heart. And then it makes you start believing this stuff about you, which probably wasn't true. Do you remember a specific date before Rob was murdered that he told you, Jonathan said, we could be together and live for God?
Do I remember a date?
Yeah, like maybe how, like, a week before, in a month before, all the time?
More than we talked about, you know, living for God. More. I'll say maybe a month or two, maybe 3.
Did you know that he had planned to murder your husband?
No.
You didn't know that?
No, did not know that he planned on murdering Robert.
Because he did.
I can't. I think I want it to just be a lie. You know, like there's no lie. I can't.
After the murder, has he talked to you about it and told you that he did it?
No, he never said.
Never ever?
He never said, I killed Robert.
Do you know that he has 2 firearms that are the same caliber as the one that killed Robert?
Same caliber. What's that?
The same size bullet, same exact bullet.
What kind of gun?
Semi-automatic handgun. You use the restroom or anything? No. Good? You want to go to the restroom real quick?
I knew that John had to do it.
Tell me about that.
I just knew that he was an investigator for the fire service.
And what kind of investigations did you do?
Fire investigations, but he could carry a gun.
Arson stuff? How long have you been doing that?
Not that long. He's new to the force, you know.
He's done a lot of research.
I know that he has.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been telling you all about my investigation, about how my investigation goes, what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Totally feeding you a line of bullshit about the way things go.
And for some reason it made me feel better. Like, I don't know why he made me feel better. He made me feel better just talking with him, and just like, I felt like the whole affair thing was just gonna put our family and me, you know what I mean? Like that's, I just felt like the whole thing was a fair in my head, a fair. And you go like that, I just thought, how horrible would that be?
Unfair?
Unfair, yeah.
You ever know anybody who's had an affair in their marriage?
Yeah, but I feel like it felt so bad right now but their spouse wasn't murdered, you know. So
Right.
it was like, oh my gosh, this is like such horrible timing. This is horrible timing. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why the timing is like this, you know. And then when you start feeling, you know, some, you know, questioning, and it's like, oh, you know.
I can tell you that.
So, and we have discussed it a lot, you know, kind of like what to, you know, go over and say.
Why would you discuss that? About what to go over, what to say to me. Why would you guys have to discuss that? It's just an affair.
Well, no, to take off, not to, no, not for the affair to be about that. That's just kind of like, you know, we've never had an affair. Nope. We have a great marriage, perfect, everything's perfect. And then we have talked about, you know, just the lifestyle that I led, but just so it wouldn't help anything about it, I don't know.
I can tell you that this wasn't about the affair. All these conversations Jonathan's had with you about not talking to me and not telling me the truth, that was to conceal him committing a murder. That's all it was. It wasn't about the affair. It was about him.
I felt like it was about the affair. Like, I felt like it's so amplified because Rob was murdered, and I just never,
But I mean, it wasn't about the affair. He's trying to tell you all this information and feed you all this bullshit because he didn't want it to be revealed that he was having an affair with you. Because he knows that you're going to come look for him and talk to him. You know what I mean? That's what this all is about. All these conversations, this 100 conversations you guys have had, you know, in the
I'm
last...
afraid that our affair wouldn't be discovered. And to forgive us for our, you know, before our wrongful, you know, sinful adultery and
murder.
Never did he. In fact, he prayed, I'm not a murderer of God.
Okay, how about Psalms 51? He told you about that, right? When he prayed for forgiveness for his bloodshed. Remember that? He talked about that?
For his bloodshed?
Mm-hmm. I think you were actually talking over him when he was talking about that. Because you guys do that a lot. You'll be talking, and then he talks, and you guys talk over each other. And then he prayed that God would forgive him for his bloodshed. I don't think you heard it. If you did or you didn't, you don't remember hearing that?
No. I remember talking about out of the book of Psalms, and David. I remember him telling me that about David. And I know it a little bit, and I've been reading Psalms, but just
I'm going to go to the restroom. You want to go to the restroom real quick?
Sure.
Let me get a female for real quick. I can't go to the restroom.
okay.
relating it to murder, not an affair. You know what I mean? Let's talk about last week when we met. You leave here.
Mm-hmm.
You talk to him on the phone with your sister in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Still a little bit. You're not letting your sister know a whole lot. I understand. And then there was another conversation you had with him after you and I spoke. And you called him and said, "Hey, we're good. I'll call you in a little bit." Remember that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know about the calling in a little bit, what that part was about, but I just felt like I was just worried about phone records. I thought if you were gonna, I seriously thought we were getting arrested for an affair, and I know that sounds retarded, but it's like, well, what do they have really besides phone records? Okay, well, I would go back and forth, but then I just felt so, I felt guilty, for the affair and Rob being gone, but then hearing it out loud doesn't even,
I'm sorry?
hearing it out loud, it doesn't even,
Sounds retarded, right?
doesn't make sense, but
Also, you guys had a conversation about me too. Remember the conversation? Well, lots of them. I mean, I came out there with every conversation you guys had. Right?
yeah, I didn't realize that he was like, I never had said your first name, or I don't believe, and he looked in, kind of just checking you out, and
How did you do that?
I guess the computer, I don't know.
Facebook?
Not good. I'm not good on I don't do any of that stuff a whole lot. But, so, you got, and I was like, so I just kind of felt like he was doing homework for us, for the affair, so Detective Meyer wasn't going to,
It's by the book. Very precise.
cookie cutter, or something. I don't know, black and white.
So you got that from where?
I guess from the internet. I mean, he didn't tell me where he got it from. He just said he researched. Another thing too, he mentioned is an attorney. That's why he said it. You feel uncomfortable or whatever, just ask for an attorney. And so I'd never done this before.
And you?
And I felt overwhelmed and just came to like, well, maybe I should, just so I don't say something wrong. Because
What are you guilty of?
I'm not an affair. Having an affair.
So why would you be afraid of saying something wrong? If you know that you can't be arrested for an affair, then what would make you think that you're going to get in trouble?
I didn't want to put it out there. I thought that in my head, like that's what I was running from. Like I don't want you to find out that there's been an affair in prior,
I mean,
lifestyle.
my husband is killed and I'm worried about covering up an affair. There's bigger things than having an affair. That's murder, right? I mean, at that point in time, I'd be like, here's all my cards. I'm not doing anything wrong except for having an affair. You should go look at that motherfucker. That's what I would have said.
My mind has not thought that big like that.
Yeah, I mean,
It hasn't. It honestly hasn't. It's like,
I think all bets are off. Once somebody gets killed, murdered, shot, no more, not coming back. Kids with no father. Fuck the affair. Who cares?
yeah, well now.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would have been like, I need to talk to you. I got to tell you about this affair. I didn't do anything wrong except for having an affair.
There were a
But you
couple of
didn't talk
days
to
where I had it so heavy on my heart. Just,
But you never said anything. I asked you dozens of times, do you have any information for me? Do you have anything else you'd like to tell me?
I know I'm thinking outside of my affair. And
Oh no, I'm thinking about, tell me anything.
yeah.
You know?
Well, it was weighing heavy on me a couple times, and I did want to talk to you.
But you didn't, though.
I did.
How do you expect somebody to diligently be working to solve the murder of your husband?
Because I didn't suspect Jonathan.
But you told me earlier that you did at some points.
Yeah, but it wasn't like in the beginning. This is coming down to these photos and some of the things that have been said recently.
What's been said recently?
Just, it could be me on the video. It could just discussion like that in the past probably month, maybe 2 weeks.
How about when I talk to you, I can check and see if there's a text or a phone call. As soon as we get off the phone, you pick up your burner phone, you immediately call Jonathan, call me from the station, and you hang up.
This was just yesterday.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Tell me about that. Why would you do that?
Because of the John. I was like, would somebody, do you know somebody that would, there was a tip line, and then I'm just like, or maybe, is it a John? Like a random, is it John, or is it John, you?
So why would you have him call you from the station phone?
Because I was worried, like thinking, I don't know, you guys were,
Taking the phone tab?
I was thinking maybe someone's listening, I don't know, it's just I felt freaked out, like, I did.
How do you
And I
think
kind of
that?
was like, but
You kind of
it
were.
wasn't you, right? And these, I let him know that what I saw, and I let him know when we had conversations, and that he might call me back, and he said just to not let you guys keep poking at me for
So, that to me is very suspicious. For you to quickly call him on your burner phone after we get off the phone, like seconds after we get off the phone. Call me on the station phone. And then, you heard a clicking noise, thinking that we're listening to your call. It turns out it's from the station. Apparently they make a clicking noise when you're talking on the phone. That's very suspicious. more than just trying to conceal an affair. That's it. To me, that's suspicious. Until, I mean, every detective around here.
Yeah, well, I could see where that would be suspicious.
I mean, just...
That's how I felt. I seriously felt like, yeah, I felt like this affair was way, but yet I continued. There's really no explanation for my behavior as far as that goes. Like, now that I see it like this, it's almost like talking and kind of continuing. I mean, I didn't know what was going to happen after. I didn't know what was going to happen.
What do you think Jonathan's going to tell me?
I have no idea what he's going to tell me.
Because he's on his way here right now. What do you think he's going to say? Apparently he told one of the other detectives that he wanted to talk to me. What's he going to tell me about you?
Me? I have no idea what he's going to tell me about me.
You want me to give you an idea of probably what he's going to tell me?
What?
That you set this up and planned this? That's probably what he's going to tell me.
I can't imagine that. I can't
No?
imagine him saying that. No.
Why not? Because he loves you? Because he's a man of God? He's having an affair with a married woman?
No, not because of those things, because I didn't set it up, and because I can't imagine him saying that.
I'm kind of curious what he's going to tell me too. If he's going to tell me that you planned this whole thing because you know that if your husband's working for the railroad at the time when the railroad is on duty and he gets killed on duty, that there's a lot of motivator there for money. $300,000 life insurance plus another $50,000 plus the possibility of the railroad coming in and going,
No.
hey, we can pay you off.
Detective Randall Roberts, I don't care about money. Money, I can't even tell you how I don't care about money.
If I was in your shoes right now, I would care about money either. I would care about my survival. Not going to prison for the rest of my life. That's what I would care about.
Yeah, of course.
I don't give a shit about money. That's why I work. I'm a cop. I don't care about money. It's money. It does make the world go round, but it's not everything.
It's not everything.
So
We had talked about, just Robert being murdered at work. Like why would that happen?
and you can see the way this looks really bad because you have an affair.
Yeah.
You have a motivator for money. Right? This looks terrible. There's a murder, continuing affair, and people lying to conceal the affair and to conceal the murder.
Yeah. I can see how that looks really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So what's Jonathan going to tell me?
I have no idea what he's going to tell you.
Because apparently he hasn't asked for a lawyer. He wants to talk to me. You know what usually happens in these cases? One person tells me that, in this case, Jonathan's going to tell me that you started all this and you talked them into it. You know what I mean? That's what he's probably going to That's probably what he's going to say. He's probably going to tell me that.
I can't, well, that wouldn't be true.
He's lied before.
I can't imagine.
He's lied about
I can't imagine him saying.
the motorcycle. He's lied about talking to Robert 3 other times before the murder. He lied about murdering Robert, driving over there to Tehachapi and committing a murder.
He talked to Robert 3 others.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
yeah. He's a liar. But he thinks it's okay to lie because he's forgiven for his sins. He'll repent for the sin that he's committed. And he thinks it's going to be okay. No. It's not okay. You can't just go out and commit a murder and just think that you're doing God's work. You know, think that I'm doing the work of God because He wants me to save her from her sins. And then think it's okay. And that's what he thinks. And I'm wondering what he's going to tell me.
I can't even believe.
So, we're kind of not getting anywhere. I mean, we've gone over this stuff over and over and over. And I need some more information from you. I need to know some stuff. You need to tell me. I'm serious. You guys are telling me some shit because I don't have enough here. Let's talk about his VoIP phone he got.
A what?
Voice over internet protocol.
What's that?
Well, he called you on a number that gave you a heart attack. The 661 area code number.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, you almost gave me a heart attack. So why would he go to the extent of getting a phone that we couldn't track, or if he thinks we couldn't track, and thinks we would be able to...
internet phone.
Yeah, why would you do that? For an affair. It's all about the murder. Seriously, that's what this is all about. It's not about the affair. The affair is nothing. It's about concealing everything for the murder. So why would he go get the voice phone?
I didn't know that he had that until he called from that.
And you were tripping out, huh?
Yeah, I was a 6. I was like,
Oh my
check.
God.
Liar has the burner phone for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I had the burner phone. A long time ago.
I never said you weren't a good detective.
Well, I think you did say a few things. I'm trying to remember exactly, but you did talk about me.
It wasn't bad. I don't know what I thought.
So let me explain to you, because we honestly, we're kind of spinning our wheels. We're just kind of going over stuff now. We're not giving you any information right.
Okay.
Okay? I need to get some hard information from you. I need you to tell me the
You're
truth.
giving me the hard information.
I've given you a lot of it.
Yeah.
Lots, you know, and this is, I have books and books and books and books of evidence on this whole thing. I mean, I could stack the books up and they would stand as tall as you on all the evidence I've collected during this last 3 months in one day. Tons of it. You need to be honest with me. Because he's going to tell me. He's going to tell me exactly what happened.
Well, good.
Because you know why? Because he has to. He has to tell somebody this. He's going to have to tell me what happened. For his conscience, he's curious, right? Even minds are curious. They want to know, what evidence do you have to show that I've done this? All of our minds are curious. And he is going to ask, he's going to want to know. what do you have? And he's going to want me to tell him. But what I'm wondering is what he's going to tell me about you.
I know.
Okay. Why would you tell him where Robert worked at?
That was a long time ago.
Like how long?
Like probably a long time ago. Half of a year ago or so.
Mm-hmm. Why specifically would you tell him that there's a building in Tehachapi?
We talked about Tehachapi, and
It's right up the freeway.
he's asked me.
He's asked you, what do you think he asked you?
I don't know, like it was in conversation, like literally in conversation
Okay.
of where Robert works, and just kind of like,
You know why he was doing that? Because he was planning and preparing so he could be with you forever. He's planning this out. He was making this plan up in his head. He had a lot of pre-planning done. Like driving up there, checking it out. Going there on his motorcycle, checks it out, finds out how much fuel he needs to make it there and back, which points are at, where he's going to stop at. This is a plan. He had a master plan. So that's why he talks about it. And that's why he had questions for you. Where's this place at? But I'm wondering why would you even tell him? I mean, it's your husband's place of business. Why would you specifically tell him that it's a business right up the freeway in Tehachapi? That's where he works at.
I don't know why
It's
I
crazy.
told him that. It was in conversation. I don't know.
You know what? I think if you would have never told him that, he would have never been able to find it. Because it's not on the map. You can't Google it and find it. I tried. He would have never ever known where that BNSF shop was at if you wouldn't have told him. He would have not known where to go. You know what I mean?
Tell him.
Yeah, why? That's what I'm wondering. I need more information from you. And you need to tell me, why would you give that information to him?
I'm trying to think of how even a conversation.
Did you guys have any specific conversations before the murder, before the day of the murder, a couple of days before, about him maybe going on a ride on his motorcycle?
I want to say no.
No? You want to say no?
No.
Okay. But he did mention that he could be with you, you guys could be together and live in... My remote from my car. Battery's dead. He did mention to you that you guys could be together and live for God, right? Remember talking about that a bazillion times?
Yeah.
So you didn't think by him saying that maybe that he had intentions on maybe removing Rob from the picture?
No.
Why would you not think that?
Because we'd spoken of divorce. You know, like that was kind of, and we were just like living, you know, just living in our I was just living a double life, you know. And I did not know.
So you know that we have possibly heard some conversations that you guys have had in your house too, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about some of those?
How'd you do that? It's all protective work. worrying about if you know, the detectives are watching us, kind of thing, you know. And is about living life. God has a purpose, and through this, God's had a plan for all of our lives, and
I don't think that in this master plan was the whole murder. My daughter got included.
how old is she?
She's 14. She was 15 next week.
What does she want?
Huh?
What does she want right now?
She wanted a laptop. Give me a second.
Okay. I'm sorry, just open there.
We're actually going to take a break, kid. Get something to eat or something. I'm freaking starving too. I haven't eaten all day.
All right, the record reflect people's 80. Thanks for the jury, got a copy of 88, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Detective Meyer, during that interview, you left multiple times some dead spots in the recording. What were you doing at that time?
There were several moments where I left the room, basically to speak with other investigators who had been working with me on the case. There was a room pretty close to the room that I was interviewing Sabrina in, and they could watch a live feed of what was going on. So I would go meet with them really quickly to find out if there's anything else that we needed to touch bases on. At that point, through the investigation, I was trying to give her an opportunity to give me some more information and provide some truth.
And then at the end of People's 80, you moved Miss Limon to another location?
Yes, at the very end of that portion of the interview, at that point, Jonathan Hearn was present at headquarters, so I moved Miss Limon to a separate room we have that has a table, a couch, and stuff, while we could speak with Mr. Hearn.
Okay. You mentioned towards the end of People's 80, you kept saying, I wonder what Jonathan's going to say. Did you receive any information from Jonathan Hearn that day?
No, we did not. At that point, he decided he did not want to talk to the investigators.
You said that you moved Miss Limon to another room?
Yes, sir.
That room, does it have the same capabilities of audio and visual recording?
That room does not. It's more of a soft room. Like I said, there's a couch in there, a table, some chairs, and that room does not have the capabilities with a video or audio recording.
There was a further continuation of the interview with Ms. Limon. Did it occur at that same location later on after your contact with Mr. Hearn?
Yes, after we had a chance to speak with Mr. Hearn briefly, we then moved Sabrina back into the interview room 1 to finish the interview.
Your Honor, would request to approach. Have an item marked.
Yes.
Tables 81 and 81A marked next in order.
Your Honor, I would request to play the initial portion of People's Exhibit 81 for purposes of authentication for Detective Meyer.
Any objection, Mr. Chairman? Submitted. Proceed, Chairman.
If I may approach, provide a transcript.
Please.
Detective Meyer.
So did you think about anything else that would be important? So did you think about anything else that would be important? Anything else? No? What's your social security number?
Detective Meyer, do you recognize the initial portion of that interview?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that the follow-up interview that you had with Ms. Limon subsequent to what we played in People's TV?
Yes, sir.
Now, during the course of this interview, were you the only one interviewing her?
For portions of it, I believe I started the interview, and then Detective Brewer, who also assisted with the case, came in to speak with her for a few moments and left the interview. And shortly after that, Detective Trevino came back in the interview, and that's when we ended the interview.
Your Honor, I would request to move People's 81 into evidence at this time, be allowed to provide transcripts.
Any objection, Mr. Chairman? Submitted. It be admitted. Deputy will hand out a transcript. As you're aware, the transcript is an aid to help you follow along. Actual evidence is what you see and hear. everybody has a copy. Council agree to stipulate, I believe we did this the other day, but Madam Recorder does not need to take down the contents of 81 in light of it being marked.
So stipulated, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, please.
Alright. So did you think about anything else that would be important? Anything else? No? What's your social security number? And what city were you born in? Understand. You were born in Martha?
This is me below is on Goodwick Street, about the time of the murder. So this is
3 minutes after the murder occurred.
after.
That's Jonathan driving away from the scene. From the place on Goodrick, where the shop's at,
That's good. Okay.
takes an hour to get to the pilot. And this is 1 hour later. On August, I think it was the 8th, Jonathan, he bought these clothes he was wearing at a Goodwill in San Bernardino. Shoes, pants, jacket, shirt. We found the receipt. My partners are talking to Jonathan right now. I don't know what he's telling them. So I told my partner that once he gets done talking to her, like, at a point where you take a break to come in and relay some information so we can figure out what he's saying. I don't know what he's telling them. He told me he had a bunch of stuff to tell them, so I can't imagine what he's telling them.
Great. No idea. What is telling him? This?
Huh?
Is he telling him?
I don't know. He's gonna come in and talk to me. He'll come in and talk to us real quick. We'll understand exactly what's going on. I mean, I can't imagine that. It's hard for me to imagine that, honestly, that you didn't know this was going on. You know what I mean? With all this talk on the phones in your guys' house, getting a burner phone, it's hard for me to believe that you didn't have knowledge of it. You didn't know you couldn't talk about it. I mean, it's yeah. So now you're saying that you don't know, that you didn't know you was in it, but it's very hard to believe, you know what I mean?
I understand it would be. And now that I'm looking at it outside of, you know.
What I'm looking at.
Yeah. What you're looking at. I'm talking to Patrick, like, I saw it, like, oh my gosh, you know. Yeah, I mean,
What do you think's going to happen to you right now?
what do you do?
I mean, with all this, everything, I mean, you think that you think you're going to be able to see your kids again?
I hope so. Yeah, this is detective. It's a nightmare. Yeah. He said I gave him that. Told him about what worked and
How do you think Robert felt? His mom rushed on somebody, and this guy's got a gun in his hand. You know what I mean? Can you imagine? I thought about it a lot. Like what was going through his mind, how was his heart racing. He's scared. He's thinking about his kids, his wife. This guy's trying to murder him. For what? So he could have his life. This guy wanted Robert's life. This guy murders him in cold blood. Probably like, I think Robert felt, I mean, he had to be fucking scared. You know what I mean?
I didn't even. I just wanted to know if he suffered. He said he didn't suffer. I didn't know details of.
Man, I really don't know. I know that where your child was horrible. But you don't know what he's going through. 1 second, everything is cool. You're bending down, getting a meter or water. Next second, you're fighting for your life. Fighting for your life. This guy's gonna fucking kill you.
He was struggling.
Yeah, they're fighting with a gun. And then pow, the gun goes off. And then what are you thinking? You start thinking about your life. You know? Your kids and all that shit. You know what I mean? Nobody knows what Rob was thinking, but we can speculate, you know? He's thinking, oh my god, I gotta get this gun from this guy. You know what I mean? Give me something. Give me something that's good. I need to know. I need some information.
You have all the information right here. You have it all.
But you can see from my point of view, I don't have all the information. You know what I mean? This looks horrible.
You know it
This
does.
guy gets fucking killed.
You know it
And
does. I hate it.
yeah, this guy murders him because he wants his life. That's the bottom line. This guy wants his life.
And I gave him the
You
access.
You did. You told him where your husband worked at. When he would be working, where the shop was, where Maisie worked, and you told him that he was going to be gone and you guys could maybe hook up. He had other plans. He wasn't planning on hooking up with you. He was planning on taking that stroll to Tehachapi like he had done before. You know? He had it planned out, he had it timed out, he knew how long it would take, he knew how much gas he would need, he paid cash. He paid cash for the stuff he bought, because he knew this one of my partners, Detective Brewer.
How you doing? Kevin Brewer.
Hi, Kevin.
He was talking with John.
Yeah, and talking to Robert.
John.
I got a couple of questions for you. That might be good.
So he is he's made this plan. So you think that, I mean, you tell him that, hey, Robert's gonna be gone, he's at work, it's a 12-hour shift, maybe we can come over, we can hang out, and he's thinking, today's the day. I'm gonna go take that drive. And I'm gonna go take care of business so I can be with her. And I can have her and her family, her kids. The saddest thing for the kids. Horrible. Because they lost their dad. And he was a good dad.
No.
Terrible.
Right. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's my fault.
Sabrina, after talking to Jonathan and looking at this, I mean, I helped him with this case for a long time. It looks like there's two people involved, not just you. I don't think you pulled the trigger, did you?
No.
Jonathan did. When did he tell you that it was him in that video?
Yesterday.
When?
Yesterday?
When did he tell you before that?
No.
What did you think? He told you that's him on the video.
Well, he hadn't seen the video, but he said it could be me. He said
How could that be? I'm confused here.
we've just talked a bunch about, he's just said that, you know, detectives can say and do anything that they want.
Did you ask him how that could be him in that video?
I did.
What did he say?
He said that it could be a picture of him at another gas station.
You asked him what he was doing in that gas station? Halfway to where your husband was murdered?
He, from what how I took it, was like another gas station, another place, you know. And I said, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to put?
Did you see the picture of Jonathan on the motorcycle?
Yeah, it's right there.
Do you have any trouble figuring out that's Jonathan? Because frankly, everybody else that knows him that's seen it, I mean, you have to know that we floated that to them. They've all had no problem with it. And I think you would know any more than any of them, really.
Yeah.
Do you have any problem with that, picking that out of Jonathan?
No.
Do you know anybody else that looks like that has a motorcycle like that that would have a reason to kill your husband?
No.
Who else could it be?
No, that's not right. Maybe something else.
And frankly, Sabrina, I've sat on a lot of wiretaps, and I know you know we've been listening to you
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
I've sat on a lot of bunch of 33 years in New England. And I can tell you the conversation between you two is not covered up in there.
Well, that's what I've.
You've already told people about your affair long before this. There was no reason to keep this a secret. Keep it from who?
Oh, I haven't told anybody.
Yes, you have.
Who did I tell?
You've told people, and so has Jonathan. What? At
Said about now, you
at
know,
what
but
point
not.
did you think we knew about Jonathan? How do you think we found out about Jonathan?
Phone records.
From what?
From phone records.
No, we have to have probable cause to get search warrants to get the phone records.
I didn't
He
know.
told people about you. He's been told to stay away from you, and you know that. We've been listening to you guys for a while, Sabrina. And I know Detective Hearn is trying his best to get you to tell us the truth. And you have to know that. Jonathan was arrested the same time you were. We just got him done going to jail. And there's a great many questions that we need to have you answer for us. Okay?
Okay.
Tell me what I think when your secret boyfriend finds out exactly where your husband is in a different county, 2.5 hours away, drives up here and kills him. What do I think? How in the world would he find out where that place is? I couldn't even find it when they sent us there.
That's my fault.
Absolutely. What's it look like to me?
No.
Let me tell you what it looked like to a jury. This is all I do. It's all I've been doing for many years. Let me tell you what a jury's going to think. The same thing I am right now and the same thing you are. We've got some problems. You need to tell me why you're not an accomplice to this murder.
Why am I not?
Yeah.
Because I would never want Robert dead. I would never want him dead. Ever.
Yes, you did. You guys have been talking for weeks and weeks about how this is God's will. That you guys get together and marry. It's all God's will. It's almost every conversation of every day about how killing your husband and you two getting together is God's will. Bathsheba. Did we talk about that?
They had said,
Well, tell me that story. Tell me the story
I
of
don't
David and
know.
Bathsheba.
I don't know that. I don't know it.
You don't know that story? He says that's our life, and you went yes.
Well, whatever I read, like
You don't remember?
no, I don't
He
remember.
takes another man's wife that has his husband murdered, had her husband murdered, killed. There's a whole other around here. It sounds to me like the woman fell in love with another man and had her husband killed.
I would never want Robert killed, ever.
Why did you tell him where Robert's at?
I was going to see him, and I would tell him when Robert was working and stuff, and we.
Why would you so worried about the DNA stuff he found?
I thought that was good. The
No,
DNA.
no, that's not what the conversations are. No,
Well, the DNA was
no,
good.
no, it's panic. See?
No.
I can read a few of them to you. It's not.
Yeah. Well.
You talk about how good it is after you figure out we're probably listening to you. Before that, it's all panic, which is exactly why we told you that. Okay?
I just didn't want to be publicized as
So
having
you
an
two
affair.
already, both of you have already told people about this affair. Why keep it from us? We knew about it from the minute. He's got 500 of your phone calls on his thing every day. You think we're not going to know?
I thought that I didn't know. I was worried about that. I know. It doesn't look bad. I know how bad. I know that it looks bad, but
I think this past looked bad.
I get it.
It looked bad for a while, and then it got bad because we thought other stuff that you have to know. We can't tell you all of this. The thing's got to get prosecuted. Okay? But it looked bad for a while, and then it just got bad. And I think it's because it is bad. Okay? All we talk about is this: we have to stop sinning, and you guys are still together. I'm confused with these calls. I really am. Do you think God meant for you and Jonathan to be together? Is that what you guys are talking about? When you're praying that the DNA doesn't let us find out? Would you want me to read that one to you? You're praying that the DNA doesn't let us find out. Find out what? If his DNA is at the scene of the murder, what am I going to find out? That you two were laying around together? I'm going to find out that Jonathan killed him. We already knew that. We had those motorcycle pictures long before you know. Okay? And we had somebody call us and say, you need to look at this guy right here. Months ago, not weeks. Because he's calling us up, crying, trying to apologize for something, and we haven't figured out what he did. But he keeps crying and apologizing. Okay? Where's his tailpipe?
I have no idea.
He didn't tell you what he did with his tailpipe?
No, I didn't even know that he.
You notice he's got a different pipe on the bike?
Louder. The exhaust is louder, it sounds louder.
I'll be honest, I don't pay attention to any of that kind of stuff. I just know the riding on the bike. That's all I know.
Yesterday, when I told you that this tip came in and we had a John, how come you gave me two different John's names?
Because that was John. Those were the Johns that Rob was with.
Why wouldn't you just tell me then? I mean, you had to know that shit's hit the fan.
Yeah, I felt like, oh, Jonathan, okay.
Why wouldn't you tell me? Here's the deal. It's not just about an affair. Your husband was murdered. That's more important than this freaking affair you guys were having. You know what I mean? Here's another thing. I can tell you, I don't care where the hell I was at. Day, night, whatever. If my wife was murdered, I would be standing at that fucking scene, finding out why and what, give me some answers now. And you didn't even come out there.
He told us that we weren't allowed to.
I don't care if they told me I couldn't go out there. I would be there, standing there, saying,
Oh, I wanted
tell
to.
me something. You didn't. I don't care if they tell me I couldn't. You're going to tell me that I can't drive a fucking Tehachapi. It's a free world. I'm going to go where I want to go. And I'm going to go there and I'm going to talk to whoever to find out what's going on. That's suspicious to me, too. And I know you're having an affair. You're living two.
I wanted to come up, but
You're living two different lives and stuff, like you said.
they said it was all roped off and they won't let anybody
Oh,
out.
I would should have been getting my way to that crime scene. Find out what the hell happened to my wife.
God has a purpose. Sees all, he does. Knows all, he does. He has a purpose to us in our marriage. He even knew that Rob was going to get killed. When he told you that's him in the video, why were you not burning his phone up to tell you, I found out who killed my husband?
I mean, you said it looked like him.
Because your relationship with Jonathan is more important than your husband was.
No.
You should have been tearing his phone up. Jonathan just told me that's him in the video. Okay? Why didn't we get that call?
I asked him, I said, what
Well, you don't need to ask him anything. Tell me why you didn't call us.
Because he said it could have been planned, like it could
No,
have been.
there's no could. Okay? That's not, it's a glass of water. It's not a house. It's not a car. I can't tell you that, well, that could be a chair. It's a glass of water. That could be me in the video. What do you mean it could be you? It either is or is not. And if he's in the video, that's the video of the suspect. We all know that. You know that, don't you? That guy in that video walked into the place where your husband was and killed him and then ran off. And he tells you that could be me in the video. What did you think? I'm more than confused here, Sabrina. I'm really telling you. I think you're flat in the middle of this murder. I think he's such a husband. I've had him killed by Jonathan, so you two can be together.
No.
I can tell you that's not going to happen, ever.
No,
Okay? You need to get that through your head now. You are not going to be together. You're going to end up going to prison for the rest of his life. And I've got some serious doubts about you. Okay?
Okay, understood.
There's no reason to tell your boyfriend exactly where your husband is working. Absolutely none. Right down to the building. What's the purpose? There can only be one.
No.
Tell me another one. I'm waiting. Tell me why you would tell him exactly where Rob's at. You can't find that place by accident. We knew somebody told him. Okay? And I'll be honest with you, from day one, when he told me about, I wasn't there to murder, he come back and told me, so we got a problem. It's the wrong time of the day for somebody to get burglarized. And burglars don't just shoot people for no reason. Okay? Something else went on. It was all fishy looking. It was real fishy to me. I said, somebody has got a relationship. We better start looking at it. I was at 3 or 4 days after the murder before we knew anything. Okay? Because this whole thing stunk to me from day one. Somebody told somebody where that guy was at. You can't just find him. There's not anything to take in that place anyway. All those businesses next door have got tons of stuff that you could sell. Not that place. Tools. That's it. Train repair craft. You can't sell that. He told you that could be me in the video. That should have been the end of it right there.
And then I told you that that was our suspect, and you didn't say anything. You know what I mean? I said, this is our suspect. No, okay. Gigs up. That's Jonathan Hearn. You didn't tell me anything.
I should have told you that.
You should have.
The black helmet, I didn't.
He never
even
told you
see.
it was him in the video, Sabrina. You already knew it. Okay? He didn't tell you that. You already knew it. You know, day one it's him. You know how he walks. That was my brother in that video. I'd peg him in a minute. You know. And when we put the picture of Jonathan on his bike down in front of you, you don't need to sit and stare at it for 15 minutes. You knew exactly who it was. And you should have said it. It's Jonathan. And it's Jonathan's bike. Everybody else did. Why couldn't you say it? You knew it was him. You knew it was him on his bike. You know exactly where the picture's taken.
Where it's taken?
Yeah, it's taken about 300 feet from where your husband's killed. He's leaving right after he kills him. Okay? He told you he did this, and he told you because you guys wanted him. If he wants to be with you, you need to tell us now. If not, all we're left to think with.
Mr. Smith, stop the 81A on page 18. We'll take our recess there 15 minutes. Remember not to form or express any opinion or discuss the case. See you back in 15 minutes.
session.
All right, we'll go back on the record in People versus Limon. She's present in court with her attorney and the people are represented. You have Detective Meyer on the stand, still subject to direct by Mr. Smith, and all 12 plus 4 in the box. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Smith, if you'd like to continue. We left off with 81, page 18.
Did you set this whole thing up? If he went and did something stupid, okay, you need to tell us now.
Well, you have it right there.
I don't have it. I want it out of your mouth because we've not got any truth out of your mouth. And if I don't start getting something, I told you I'm left to believe exactly what I really believe. Somebody told him where Rob was, exactly where Rob was, and we're going to kill him. And you know, if we've been listening to what you guys have been talking about for weeks and weeks, what we've done, okay?
Yeah, I understand.
And he comes down here and he purposely tells you we haven't got nothing just to see what you'll say. And you burn up the phone. They ain't got nothing. Okay? We're okay. They ain't got nothing. What's it sound like? What will it sound like?
Well, he did say that yesterday. I don't.
At what point did he tell you he shot Rob? And don't tell me he didn't. I know better.
He said that was him yesterday.
No. 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 I ain't gonna cut it. Okay?
He never said he
You
shot
think
him.
about 6 or 7 old ladies sitting on that jury, and this guy says, that's me in the video. Huh? And they said, what happened? I don't know. She didn't cut it. She still, it took us, 15 minutes into an interview to get her to say that. She didn't call us. Okay? And the prosecutor says, folks, that's how much she cares about the husband. Okay? Her new boyfriend killed him, and she don't even care. And what will your kids think when they find out? And the whole world is going to find out in the next 3 days because all this paperwork goes public. Not a thing we can do about it. Okay? All kinds of stuff. Phone calls, everything. You want people hearing some of that stuff without explaining some of this stuff to us?
No.
Tell me when he told you he killed your husband. Because he did and he told you. Okay? Or you knew it already. If he didn't tell you, you knew it already. And you knew it before he did it.
I didn't know.
Then how did he find out where your husband is to go kill him?
It's my fault.
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Yes. When he asks about where your husband is, what do you think he's asking for? Go buy him a milkshake? Say, hi, I'm doing your wife. Well, what do you think he's going to do? When did he tell you? You're not going to get another shot at this, I'm telling you. We're going to leave here in a minute, and we're not going to talk to you again. You'll want to, but your attorney won't let you, and it's too late. I won't talk to you, we're late. We're done. We will take what we have and go with it. You wouldn't be here if we didn't have enough. Okay?
I understand.
Sabrina, if you did something, and you don't want to tell us, then you've got to now. You understand?
I understand.
If he didn't, if you never intended for him to go do this, and he went and did it, and you didn't plan this, and you had a thing, and you get scared because he's done it, you think you're wrapped up. I can understand that. I've had a lot of people in these situations, a lot. Bunches of them. Little girls that drive people, little youngsters to all, but I didn't know they were going to go in there and kill people. It happens, okay?
Yeah,
And it doesn't mean that you're in the middle of this, plotted it, planned it, or anything else. He may have went off and done something stupid on his own. But don't tell me you didn't know, because we know you did. This has been nothing but cover up. Oh my God, I hope they don't. God wants it to be together. I hope the DNA doesn't. Okay? That's got nothing to do with this affair. What the DNA got to do with you two being together. And how are we going to find out that you two are right if all we have is his DNA?
Yeah.
Okay? His DNA at the scene means only one thing. That's a suspect.
Yeah. I understand that.
Did you plan to kill Rob?
No. Oh my gosh, ouch.
When did Jonathan tell you to get it? Don't tell me yesterday again.
He never came
did.
out and
Yes, he
said,
did. Yes, he did. You guys are doing nothing but hiding this thing the whole time. Yes, he did.
no,
Well, what are you trying to hide?
I know, okay, I know it doesn't look good.
No. There's a difference between doesn't look good and absolutely is not good. This is absolutely not good.
I understand that.
Okay?
I understand that. He never told me that he was going up there that day. I had told him where Robert.
Why? We're still back to that one, and I'm still sitting here waiting for a reason why you would tell Jonathan where your husband is. Are you going to come up with some answer between now and trial time?
They're going to see each other. So I could talk to him.
About what?
That's why.
About what? What's he going to say? I got to know. I'm sending my boyfriend to talk to my husband.
No, he never said he was.
What did you think he was going to do if he's asking about where Rob's at?
He didn't ask that day.
Why did you tell him?
I had told him, like, prior in conversations.
Why?
He'd asked.
Why?
I believe.
Just-
About Tehachapi, like, we just talked about, like, what Rob did and just talked.
You didn't know what Rob did?
Yeah, but up in Tehachapi as a responder.
Okay, so why is it important for anybody in the world, really, to know exactly where Rob's at?
Well, from your now on the other side, I don't know. He shouldn't have. And I shouldn't have it.
When you told him exactly where Rob was at, and Rob ends up getting killed, did you put two and two together at all?
Not at first. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what I heard. I couldn't believe that it happened. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know why.
You didn't figure out, gee, I just told Jonathan, who wants to be with me forever, does not want me to be with my husband. I'm back and saying, exactly where my husband's at, and now my husband gets killed in the middle of a Sunday afternoon in broad daylight.
No, I didn't.
It didn't dawn on you?
I didn't think of him. No, I didn't. I thought I couldn't believe Rob was gone, and I thought about our affair, and I felt I can't describe how I felt.
Okay, tell me anybody else in the world that have a reason, besides Jonathan, to kill your husband. Anybody. Has he owed money? Is he in the Russian mafia? Has he beat up people? An alleged rapist or anything at all? So who has the only motive that you know of to kill your husband?
The only thing I thought it was.
What did Jonathan have to gain if he killed Rob? What's the prize? You. Correct? And he has you all to himself. Is that correct? And he gets killed after you tell him where he's at, and you don't put it together. I don't think you're that dumb, Sabrina. I really don't. No one's going to. They were back to you having killed.
No.
Because if Jonathan, if you don't suspect it, and at some point Jonathan's got to tell him, say, did you ask him, hey Jonathan, don't you think it's odd that after I tell you where he's at, somebody goes over there and kills him? For no apparent reason?
I did say.
And what were the answers?
questions?
What did he say? Oh no, I didn't?
And he just said, that's crazy.
And you believe him? Enough to stay with him, you did. But make future plans. Start talking about how you're going to raise Rob's children with him.
I know, Kevin. I know.
Jonathan ever tell you about the handguns he owns? How many?
I just knew that he had one gun.
Talking about a 45 deal, 45 caliber.
I didn't know what kind it was.
And he's got one, and it's missing. Nobody can find it. Wonder where that's at. Same caliber used to kill your husband. The only thing worse than keeping the murder weapon is getting rid of it when it's registered to you. Not being able to tell us where it's at. Oops, I lost it. Oops, I don't know where it's at. Oh, I forgot where I put it.
That's what he said.
You know what I mean? You know how stupid that sounds? But seriously, that's almost as believable as I told him exactly where he was at, and he ends up dead in that spot, and I don't think this guy killed him. Did you tell anybody else exactly where Rob was at that day?
Well, yeah, I mean, being in Tehachapi, you know. I didn't tell Jonathan, like, directions that day. It was prior, like we talked about.
How did you find him?
Months. It was months. I'd say probably months prior. And I want to remember how exactly that conversation went.
So how did Jonathan know he's there that day?
I had told him,
You told him Jonathan's in Tehachapi.
no, Robert isn't.
Robert's in Tehachapi, working. And that day he gets murdered. And you don't figure that out.
I had talked to Jonathan.
And you don't bother to tell him or anyone else. By the way, the day my husband is murdered, I told my boyfriend where he was. What's it sound like? What's it going to sound like, Sabrina?
I understand that.
I can go on and on with this thing, and that's going to happen at the trial. But I'm not going on much longer. The rest of it should be going here later, and probably not what we should have ever. Okay? If you have any part of this thing, and we all think you did, or you wouldn't be here, you need to start figuring out how to convince us that you didn't know. I told you, he did something stupid, and you didn't know he did it, and you had nothing to do with planning it. Okay? And he says, sorry, honey, I had to do this for us to be together. Whatever he did, whatever he told you, you need to tell us now.
I
Okay?
understand.
If you're going to stick to this, yesterday he finally told me he killed my husband, basically.
Well, these conversations have been the same, you know, since.
No, they haven't. No, they've changed drastically all the time. The only major theme is God wants you two to be together, according to him. And God sees everything and knows everything. What did God see the day Rob got killed? Same thing we saw. His motorcycle, Jonathan's motorcycle leaving the crime scene. Okay? I mean, who does he think he's fooling? Who are you guys fooling here? I don't get it. He tells you that you and Kim are David and Bathsheba's story, and you agree.
I didn't.
You'll hear that again, trust me. That one was almost unbelievable for me, because that's exactly what happened. Exactly. You know, for us to be together, one spouse has got to be out of the picture permanently. Now, why divorce was an option, I don't know.
Divorce would have been an option for me, not murder.
Well, then why did it get to this? Was it not an option and that didn't go over well with Jonathan? That's what it sounds like. I've had a few of those. See, if you won't divorce him, I'll get rid of him for you.
Yeah.
No. I think yes.
I understand.
If you won't divorce him, then Jonathan's got to go to Plan B. Doesn't he? That means Jonathan's got to know where he's at, and he got that out of you. And frankly, I could sit here for 2 or 3 hours, and I don't think you'd ever explain that one. There's only one explanation for that one. It's just exactly what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? What everybody else outside the room is thinking. Okay? exactly what it is. I may not even get exactly what you guys plan to do. Kill your husband. Shot him straight in the face. Okay? You tell me what Rob deserved that. Tell me what Rob's children done to have their dad taken away by your boyfriend. Tell me. What did they do? And who suffers? Huh? You don't. They do. Their whole life. They want their dad back. And who took them? And who helped them take it? What are they going to think? Trust me, Sabrina, I've never talked to anybody yet that thought they wouldn't get away with it, or you wouldn't do it. Everybody does. It's all well planned. All of it. All of the interviews are rehearsed on the phone with him. Yeah, we listened to them. They were impressive. I'm going to tell you exactly what to say and not say, and we're going to Google DNA and Google all this stuff to make sure that we're not giving them enough information to find out. Okay? But that stuff we already knew. So before this thing comes to an end, okay, I'm going to ask you one more time. Did Jonathan tell you he killed your husband?
He never told me that. It just all led up to all the things that he'd said. Led up to that. All the conversations, just not specifically. I shot Rob. He never said that.
What conversation is leading up to what? The murder?
No, not the murder. No, that conversation that day was normal. Besides,
So you're talking about the conversations that happened
after the murder,
and what were you guys talking about?
just the murder.
Hello. I think that a decision needs to be made right now. You requested this. You wanted to talk to Randall. We're 4 hours into this, and you haven't said anything different to him than what he told me. If you have something you need to say, right now's the time, because otherwise I'm ready to cut this off.
I think you guys,
You think what?
everything that has been said has been evidence that it's clear. And it's my fault for telling Jonathan where Robert was that day.
And it most certainly is. It is your fault. But, for the last 4 hours, Detective Myers told you that you're holding on to something. There's something that you know that you're not telling us. Right now, I would have more respect if you said, hey, I'm not going to say anything to you. You don't like me. I know you don't like me. I'm good with that. You think I'm the mean guy. I get accused of it all the time. But it's time to shit or get off the pot. Okay, let me ask you this. You wanted to speak to him. What did you want to tell him that was so different than what you told me already? Prolong the inevitable? Sitting in a jail cell?
No. I want to have to apologize for not being honest with him. Telling him about our relationship before.
That's the only thing that you want to apologize for, is for not telling us about an affair?
Then it's my fault.
We've established that. And I'm not here to kick you in the teeth. Robert is dead because of you. Make no mistakes about that. That is something that you're going to have to live with for the rest of your life. That is something that your children are going to have to live with for the rest of their lives. No matter what happens now, little Robbie's going to know that Jonathan killed his dad. I told you down there in Boron, I could care less about you. I care about your kids. They didn't ask for this. You're a grown woman. You made decisions. And why you would tell a man, he's not a man, he's a coward. He's a scumbag. Why you would tell the guy that you're sharing a bed with where your husband works, beyond me. If you don't have anything for us, I think we need to get you to jail. I'll take that as a yes, I do not have anything to tell you. Is that pretty fair?
I've said everything that we...
Okay, yeah, you told him the same thing that you told me, only I wasn't patient for 4 hours. I was kind of trying to move it along after about an hour of listening to you tell me nothing. He's a lot nicer than me, a lot more patient. So what I need you to do is I need you to stand up and turn around. Obviously, since you were already brought down here once before, you were told what you're under arrest for, correct?
Yes.
For conspiracy to commit murder and accessory to murder? Okay. Have a seat.
4 hours and 40 minutes.
So 5 hours you managed to tell us nothing. You got a second, sir?
Yep.
Before we walk you out, we needed you to sign one of those cards. We didn't have you sign one of those cards. Just put your fingerprints on, so the lady's coming over here so you can sign those.
Okay. Well, Detective, if Jonathan did it, and you guys have all the evidence,
I'll get it.
You know, but when you sign the card, you sign this one twice. I need you to sign that one.
oh, okay.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
I wanted to bring this card over so you could see that it's your signature.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks.
What was your question?
Well, I just don't understand. I mean, if you guys have all the evidence and it's not like he was going to confess it to me. When he did that, you know, he's not going to say those words to me. He didn't know that he was going up to Tehachapi that day. Prior, I had told him where Robert had worked. The conversation that we had. I didn't know he was going up to Tehachapi that day.
You did. See, you know, you keep saying that. That you can't believe it. Do you?
I'm going to.
You are? Why is that?
That's what happened.
This whole time, I guess people react differently to stuff. This whole time, you find yourself not being able to believe it. But not once have you showed any anger or disgust, especially since you inserted it into your children's lives. That bothers me. So, it's not too often I get to see good things at work. But when I saw that video of your son, it impacted me. And through all of this, your children really haven't been a concern to you. It's unfortunate because they definitely deserve better than what you're giving them. And I hope they get it. I hope they do. They deserve a lot more than what they're getting. I wish I would have known them. Definitely under different circumstances. You know, well, I'm spinning my wheels. Let's get you to it.
All right, the record reflected People's 81 was placed for the jury. Get a copy of the transcript. Just a minute.
Thank you. Your Honor, if I may approach, I have some items marked.
Please.
Equals 82 and 82A marked for identification. Equals 83 and 84 marked for identification.
Detective Meyer is showing you now what's marked as People's 82. You recall being shown the CD containing audio labeled under RM16.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall a wiretap being played where there was only audio of you and not audio from the other end of the call?
Yes, sir.
Did you review what's now marked as People's 82A as being the same call but containing audio from both ends of the call?
Yes, sir, I did.
Your Honor, I would request to put People's 82 into evidence at this time. Be allowed to provide transcripts.
The objection, Mr. Chair.
Submitted.
It'll be admitted, counsel. All right, record reflected 82A has been handed out to the jury by the bailiff. You know what to do with it.
This is Detective Meyer. This is Detective Meyer, number 40301. I'm going to call Sabrina. It is Monday the 17th of November at 6:33.
person you were trying. Hello,
Hello, Sabrina there.
this is she.
Hey, Sabrina, this is Detective Meyer. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Detective. How are you?
Good, I'm doing good. Hey, I don't have a whole lot of time.
Okay.
I've been stuck at work late. Do you have a second?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been stuck at work late, going through some witness tips and stuff. And I was reviewing some video from the area about the time when the murder occurred. And about that time, we could see a motorcycle leaving the area, and it appeared to be a white, kind of a white male, skinny, that was leaving the area at the time around when the murder occurred. Also, I've been going through these secret witness tips, and I got a tip today that said that we should be looking at a subject named John, like a Jon, and this person possibly named Rob. I just called a meeting.
What? Say it again.
We got a secret witness tip today.
Okay.
And the subject, we should be looking at a subject who's possibly named John, like Jon, and the subject possibly named Rob. We're going into a meeting right now. I just called a meeting for my guys. We're going to meet up and talk about this stuff. But I wanted to give you a call real quick and give you a few minutes to think about this. So again, let me go over this video again. I know I talk a little fast. So we were reviewing the video, and it looks like a skinny white male is leaving the area on a motorcycle after the incident occurred, leaving the area anyways. And then it's putting the secret witness tips together and going through them. And apparently this person says that we should be looking at a subject named John, Jon, and that he possibly knew Rob. And we're trying to get a hold of this person that made the secret witness tip. So I'm going to go into this meeting real quick, and then I'll give you a call back, see if you can think about anything. And then I'll give you a call back here in a little bit when the meeting's over, and then we can go further into it.
Okay, perfect. That sounds great, Detective. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Records like 82 was played for the jury. They had a copy of 82A. Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Detective Meyer, during your interview with Ms. Limon, there was also mention of a video that you have sent her via some text messaging with her as well. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if I may approach the witness.
Please.
Showing you what's been marked as People's 83. Have you reviewed this CD prior to testimony today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what are the contents of that CD?
These are text messages from to and from Sabrina and me. I was texting her information regarding the case.
Does it also contain a multimedia message and an attached video?
Yes, I also sent a picture and then a partial video.
What was the partial video of?
I believe we had a couple partial videos at the time, and I believe this partial video that was sent to her at this time was of Jonathan entering the gas station on the motorcycle coming from 395. I'm sorry, from 58, pulling into the gas pumps.
record could reflect that I've shown Mr. Terry the contents of People's 83, and I would request that it be moved into evidence at this time.
Any objection, Mr. Terry?
Submitted. To be admitted.
Detective Meyer, beginning with what's labeled as November 17th and 18th SMS. These are text messages that you sent to Sabrina Limon.
I can't directly read the messages from here, but I saw them earlier when you showed me, and yes, those were messages I sent to her.
Closer?
A little bit. Getting older, sir.
Where were these text messages downloaded from?
Those were downloaded from her cellular telephone.
I don't have a way to bring it to you, so with the court's permission, if the witness can step off the stand. If you could just provide the text messages that you provided Ms. Limon, the date and time that you sent.
Okay, the first one on this sheet is on November 18th, 2014 at 9:07, and it was a message with a picture. I had sent a picture also and asked if it looked like one of the Johns that she was telling me about the night prior, and that we were going to release it to our media market to see if anybody got any more tips.
The next text message?
That one was sent from me to Sabrina on November 17th, 2014 at 9:49. And it said, "Let me know what you think. It's not too good. It's a picture of a picture." And then, I'm sorry.
What picture did you provide her with that text message?
It was a picture, I believe, of Jonathan opening the door to the cooler inside the gas station. And it was a photo that I had taken off of the video, because at that point in time, we didn't have the video, supposedly didn't have the video downloaded yet.
Okay. Next text message?
The next one in line is from a subject named Julie, it looks like.
Okay. The next one from you.
Okay. Next one for me is on November 17th, 2014 at 7:50. And it said, "Hey, Sabrina, I just found out that there's a video from a Pilot gas station at 58 and 395. I'm heading out there in a few. Looks like the suspect may have filled up."
Detective Meyer. Drawing your attention now to what is labeled as November 18th at 8:57 MMS or multimedia message. Again, if you could provide the date, time, and what you sent to Ms. Limon.
This was on November 18th, 2014 at 8:57. And I sent the message that, "Good morning, Sabrina. I'm sorry I've been up late. This looks like I took this video from the video I recovered last night. It's a lot better in person. Does this person look familiar to you? This is our suspect." And there was a movie attached, which was with the video.
Do you recognize this CD? You can take it out of the sleeve if you need to.
Not to scratch. Yes, sir.
You reviewed that CD earlier today?
Yes, sir.
What are the contents of that CD?
These are Verizon cellular telephone records from August 17th of 2014 and April 25th, I'm sorry, 24th and 25th of 2014.
During the course of this investigation, did you request records from Verizon as to Robert Limon's phone 760-475-7845?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how did you receive those records?
Basically wrote a search warrant for the records as part of the investigation. Received those in a digital format from the telephone company. And then, depending on how they send them or what phone company you're dealing with, sometimes they will mail a copy, a certified copy, to the courts for them to open in court. But I received those phone records and then later requested a certification of authenticity for the records.
Okay. Did you request the updated records along with the letter of certification this year?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall when you received that?
Yes, I requested that on August 17th of 2017 and received a letter back from Verizon.
Are those the same records that you received during the course of the investigation in 2014?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, prior to proceeding, if I could show those to Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Your Honor, if the record could reflect, I did show what is marked now as People's Exhibit 84 to Mr. Terry, and I would request it be moved into evidence at this time.
Any objection, Mr. Chair?
Submitted.
Be admitted.
All right. Detective Meyer, drawing your attention to what's labeled as 141-87994.certification PDF. What is this document?
This is the letter I received from Verizon regarding the certification for the phone records they had sent me.
Okay. There is a compressed zip file up to the top that's labeled case underscore 141-879947. What are the contents of that file?
Those are going to be the phone records from Rob Lamont's cell phone.
Okay. What is labeled as 760-475-7845, April 24th through 25th, 2014. What are the contents of that spreadsheet?
Those are telephone calls that Rob had made on those dates.
And then moving on to 760-475-7845 from August 17th, 2014. What is the content of that spreadsheet?
Those are also cellular calls that Rob Limon had made on his cell phone that date.
Okay. As to those two spreadsheets, did you also filter by using Ms. Limon's cellular phone, which ended in 7844, and also the home phone number that you knew as well?
Yes, sir.
No further questions at this time.
Terry Cross.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Detective Meyer.
Good afternoon, sir.
Before I go blind.
There we go.
All right. I wanted to go over some of the things in Sabrina's statement interview with Sabrina, you said that the burner phone records began on April 15th. Is that correct?
I believe that's what I told her during the interview.
But that was not accurate, is that right?
If I recall, it was later than that.
4:25 or later?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Now, during the course of the interview, she basically said that Jonathan would make her feel guilty about the life she and Rob were living. Is that right?
I believe she said that, yes.
And not having God in their lives, right?
I don't specifically remember that quote, but I know a lot of their conversations were about God.
Well, I'll change that. Not having, let me put it this way. Not about living for God. You remember that? Isn't that what you said?
I believe it was something like that, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm directing your attention to page 70 of the People's Exhibit 80 at lines 11 and 12.
May I look, sir?
Yes. Ask you to review that. I'm going down to line 14 also.
Okay. Yes, sir. That's what I said.
Okay. And then you went on to say that Jonathan gets into your mind and your heart, and then he makes you start believing this stuff about you which wasn't probably true. Is that right? Is that what you told her?
That's correct.
Now, when you also spoke to Sabrina about the type of gun that was used to kill her husband, she didn't even know what a caliber was, right?
That was correct, sir.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I know there's been a lot of talk about the cell phone intercepts, and then did you also have a bug on her phone, her home phone?
No, sir.
Did you have any type of listening devices in her home?
No, sir.
So you only had a search warrant for the cell phone intercepts, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, throughout the course of the interview, from beginning to end, Sabrina repeatedly said that Jonathan never told her that he killed Robert, right?
She said he directly never told her.
Now, the only thing she did say was that he started making excuses when she was talking to him about the video, and we heard that on the phone, the intercept, where he was saying that you had obtained a video of him from another location to frame him. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
At the time when she was talking to Jonathan, she wasn't even sure if his motorcycle was even running. Is that right?
That was correct. She did have a conversation with him and asked him if the motorcycle was up and running.
And what she said to you during the course of the interview was consistent with what you'd heard on the intercepts. Is that right?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. I know there are a number of times during the course of the interviews where it was either you or Detective Brewer where you said that there was a struggle for the gun, and that Robert and the suspect had fought. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was there any evidence of a struggle for the gun at the scene that you observed?
No, sir.
So that was a lie.
It was a ruse.
Okay. I'm just a simple country boy. Back where I'm from, we just would call that an out-and-out lie. But I know you use ruse, and I understand. And you also told her that Jonathan was taking steroids, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and she didn't know about that either, right?
Objection, that's foundation and speculation.
Well, didn't she say she didn't know?
What was the objection? Is sustained.
Did she tell you during the course of the interview that she was unaware that Jonathan was taking steroids?
Yes, she did.
Now, at the time of the interview, you talked to her about Jonathan getting rid of exhaust pipes for his motorcycle. Is that right?
Yes, I did bring that up.
Okay. And during the course of your investigation, Jonathan was observed actually throwing away tailpipes that went to his motorcycle behind a target, right?
Yes, sir.
And that was the information you had at that time. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You weren't aware that he just merely disguised the ones that he had on there at that time that you interviewed Sabrina. Is that right?
I wasn't aware of the disguise at the time.
You just assumed he'd swapped out tailpipes and the ones that he disposed of that you recovered from the dumpster at Target was the ones he used that he replaced on his motorcycle. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, you also talked about during the course of the interview with Sabrina that I want to make sure I get this right. I'm sorry. That there was blood all over his clothes. You had not recovered any clothing that he had worn at the time of the homicide. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
And you did not have, and the clothing that he was wearing in the video at the gas station, you recovered that during the search of his residence, but that was done the same day he was arrested, was it not?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you have those clothes in your possession at that time?
No, sir.
Okay. And was there any blood on that clothing?
The clothing we seized from his residence?
Yes, sir. On the day of his arrest. Specifically the shorts.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. So that was another ruse?
Yes, you got it right, sir. It's ruse.
Okay. And when you told her that Jonathan was willing and wanting to talk to you that day when you were interviewing her on November 18th of 2014, had Jonathan indicated he was willing to talk to you?
In the very beginning, when he was arrested, he had told one of the other detectives that he did want to speak to me directly. And then once he arrived at headquarters to speak with me, we ended up not being able to talk.
At one point during the interview, you said to Sabrina that Jonathan was going to tell you exactly what happened. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And what was Sabrina's response to that, if you recall?
I don't recall, sir.
Directing your attention to page 87, line 17 and 18
May I look, sir?
of the transcript.
Lines 17 and 18?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Was her response statement that that Jonathan, he's gonna tell me exactly what happened? Was her response, well, good?
Yes, sir, it was.
Now, you also told Sabrina during the course of the interview that you knew that Jonathan had been in Tehachapi in June of 2014. Is that right?
I did tell her that.
Okay. Did you know that whether or not Jonathan had been in Tehachapi in June of 2014?
I did not.
Okay. Did you even know that he'd been there in May of 2014 at that time?
Yes, at the time I had already received his cell phone records and knew that at that point he had gone through Tehachapi at that time. It was in May.
Okay. So when you spoke to her, you misspoke as to the month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Detective Meyer, did you also tell her the following? When I get out of this interview, it's going to make a huge decision on you if you ever touch and see your kids again in your entire life. Is that what you said to her?
Yes, sir.
Would that be considered trying to pressure her into talking to you?
At that point, she was under arrest, sir.
I understand she was under arrest, but you were trying to get her to talk to you, right?
I wasn't trying to pressure her. That was a pretty relaxed interview.
Oh, I recognize that, but that's a pretty powerful statement, isn't it? To a mother of two young children. Isn't it?
I'd be assuming.
All right, got a bit more. Let's be a good place.
All right. Sure the jury wouldn't mind. For the jury, I appreciate your time and your patience, I do. I talked to counsel. We are on track, we're on schedule. You have our thanks for your time. With that, we'll see you all back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Remember not to form or express any opinion or discuss the case. Have a good evening.